Alright guys, so I'm going to be teaching you how to do a chain link on these Crown TSP 6500s. They typically break up there. The reason being is either the operator bumps it into a rack, or they try to pivot too much product with it, or they try to line up the pallets and push all of them all at once. So it typically breaks the chain link that's up there. So I'm gonna go and give you some pointers on how to quickly do it and efficiently. Alright guys, so I wanted to show you real quick on this crown turret. The way this mechanism works, it is a push and pull cylinder set. So the cylinder only pushes fluid one way, that way, and it makes that rod go in. On the back side is just an air hose, basically. This line connects to the other cylinder, and then there's just air on the back side of the cylinder. So what causes the cylinder to push back out is the pivoting motion of the chain going around the sprocket. When that cylinder back there gets actuated to push, it pushes fluid back and it pulls this rod out. And then to go the opposite way, this one, fluid in, and that rod gets pushed out. So in this particular instance, this machine broke the chain link. As you can see, it's all bent right there. I had previously done this repair before, and it did skip one tooth. So you have to take off the front cover, take off the top bolt to be able to give you access to move the chain. Could you go ahead and put the forks towards me? I'm going to show you. Bring it around. Okay, there you go. So I had previously marked it. You see there's a mark on the sprocket and a mark on the chain, and it's off by one tooth. So what you got to do is take those components off, loosen up the tension. Then we're going to put the forks facing forward, that direction, and then we're just going to manually skip the chain one sprocket. That way it could be back on time. Alright guys, so I've been using this little setup for a while now. As you can see, it's an old container. It's an old water container. So you get a hose, you disconnect the hydraulic hose from the cylinder right here. You stick it in there, and obviously the fluid that's in there, you don't want it to leak down there and make a mess everywhere. So right there, I scooted the cylinder about an inch, just so that I can get the chain to line up here. That way I can stick the chain link that I have right here. This chain link, I had to grind off the other one, by the way, because it was pretty bent. But yeah, this makes the clearance. And then we are timed right here on the chain. You can see the marks that I had made previously, which I'm going to remark it just to keep them for reference. And that's with the forks facing this way, to the left of the operator. These crown lifts are very tricky to do. They do take a lot of time and patience, but once you get the hang of it, they're pretty quick. So recap is disconnect the hydraulic hose, and here disconnect the air hose that goes back to two cylinders. That way you don't have resistance of the cylinder trying to push you back. You put your hose with a little water bottle setup just to collect the oil that comes out of the cylinder so you don't make a mess. Once you do that, if you can do it yourself, usually I go up and down, and what I do is I pivot the forks by hand manually. I pivot it, and I use the chain itself to pull that cylinder in, because typically what happens is the other side as well goes in just like this one. They both go in because they only have one range of motion to go one way. So you pull it out as far as you can, and that's how you know you're there. At that point, you make sure that the chain is nice and wrapped around, tight around here. You do have to remove the bolt that goes up here, and then loosen up these two bolts that are right here as well. And then once you get it to where you're lined up, typically sometimes what I do when I'm here and I don't have enough space, it's still a little bit too far for this, I get mechanics wire and I wrap it around the whole of that and that, wrap it around do it double because it will rip. And then you open that up, put your little contraption, and you pull the cylinder out just enough to give you the clearance. Now keep in mind, this does have a little spot right here where that encoder cable does go into, so you do have to wind that back up, which is that white part that's back there, and it's spring loaded. So that's what tells the machine and what rotation the forks are in. So, but yeah, it's pretty straightforward. They are pretty tricky to do, but yeah, that's how you replace a chain link on a Crown TSP. 6000, 6500, 7000s are all the same.